keeping in mind the 21st century's every day is different.
Why knowledge matters. Dr. Monjur Chowdhury, I'm so blessed to have you back on the show and today really talk about your institution, AlivEducation, who won in 2003, I believe, grant by the government of Canada, actually an innovation grant to start AlivEducation. What is AlivEducation?
Thank you very much, Yannick. Well, it is always a pleasure, really, real pleasure to meet with you and to discuss something very important for us, for you, for me, especially people who are dedicated to education. So thank you. Well, to start with, what is AlivEducation? I always start with the purpose. First of all, AlivEducation is a model, like many other models we have in this world. But I think what we did, something we started with, making something more suitable and more in needs for 21st century education. And as you just mentioned about the Canadian government's grants that we received in 2003, in fact, it was probably little, I don't exactly remember exact year, but yes, we received. But the point was the innovation. What was the new there? It was about a model of cooperation. It is a cooperative model of business. It is a social business, but keeping in mind that we are targeting our younger generation, the children in school. And we also had to have emphasize on the fact the global world right now. In terms of Canadian, who we are Canadian. We know that Canada is a country of immigrants, myself included. And the question was, people coming from all over the world to Canada to build a better life for themselves and for their children. Keeping this in mind, we designed that model, AlivEducation model, and we call it AlivEducation and Consulting Cooperative. And I'm happy to remember those days when Canadian government recognized that there is a need for such a model. So AlivEducation is an educational model which is designed with a cooperative model of business. That is in short, I want to tell you. And I'm ready to talk more details when you ask me questions.
Yeah, let's go into this a little bit later on, but first let's go a little bit more into the purpose and how you think AlivEducation is different from other educational institutions. So can you explain a little bit what the model is about? I know that it's a trilingual. Oh, I cut this out. Tell us a little bit more about the model itself.
Thank you.
And how it differs from other institutions.
Well, Yannick, you probably have been hearing me. I always say that we begin with the end in mind. Stephen Covey's that remarkable quote. All the purpose, the Dalai Lama says that the purpose of our life is to explore or is to be in the motion for happiness. So our goal is to make our children happier. And of course, we want to be happy. When we see that our children are happy, we are happy. Now, the challenge that in 21st century we are seeing, in one word, we have abundance. and I should acknowledge one very important things before we go deeper, that this world right now, we are in a deep pain. What is happening in this world? People are, unfortunately, some people are not understanding what they're doing. Millions are suffering from there. And I hope the human being and the leadership of this world will understand that enough is enough. And we need a peaceful resolution of this horrible tragedy that we are going through. So to go back to this, 21st century is full of abundance. The problem, what I was thinking about in terms of physics, the time is inversely proportional to the abundance. There is no shortage of abundance, but the shortage is time. To take care of our children, to think about what you need to give them, what their needs, and to make them the leader of next generation. Therefore, the AlivEducation model is designed, and you rightly mentioned that a triangular model. What does it mean, triangular model? With my many years of being in the field of education, I, along with a number of brilliant people, I'm very blessed, the educators, these community leaders, and of course, even my students, with those all together, we created this model, triangular model. What I found out and what we found out, if we have 3 things done for our children, or if we do practice 3 things, then probably we'll have a better outcome from the goal of going to school. Therefore, I call the purpose of going to school, why we go to school. So the first thing is, as I say, would be the motivation. Motivation is the key. Why kids need to go to school. They are excited about, they want to go to enjoy learning. Because purpose itself is also the why. You see, when we are asking why, we get we go into the question of exploring the happiness. We ask ourselves the meaning. What is the meaning? Why we are doing this? So therefore, our model, AlivEducation, first pillar, the foundation is the purpose. This is how we are different than other existing, I hope, existing institutions that so far we know. Then eventually, we need to make sure that they're ready to lead this world. There are no shortage of opportunities, but opportunities will not come. And especially we human beings, we are born with the purpose of being connected with others. So therefore, it is coming the communication. And what we teach in school for communication is language, right? Whatever language it could be. Of course, right now, we are in Canada, we are mainly focusing on English language. So how to go deeper of understanding of communication skills? So reading, writing. Once you have the reading, writing skills, gradually kids will go up. Then they will be having the wonderful opportunity to learn mathematics and science, philosophy. So we are focusing in AlivEducation. This is triangular model. The base is the foundation is the purpose of education. The perpendicular side, as I say, it is the communication skill, language, reading, writing. Be very, very skillful in reading and writing. Remember, if students cannot read well, cannot comprehend, then they cannot understand mathematical model to how to solve the problem. And once they have the skills, good skill in math, and there is no way without mathematical knowledge this to overcome the challenges that we are having. Because critical thinking is the key. Yeah. Creativity is the key. Collaboration is the key. So communication, of course, all that together. So therefore, again, our model, triangular model is, foundation is motivation, how to motivate our kids, asking them to find the meaning of their being there, then languages, and of course, math and sciences.
I think what also sets it apart, in my view, is that you have very dedicated staff, teachers, who really also lead these students, in a way that is particular. For example, they act like a mentor too. It's not just academic part, but it's also the way that they treat and challenge students to really become the best they can be.
Thank you. Well, this is very important point that you are raising. This is very important how we are different also here. We have understood another thing, that our younger generation and new generation, they need human connection, not technology only. Yeah, I am fully in the known that we need technology. But we do not want our children to be the slaves of technology. They're talking with technology. They're not talking with human beings, most of them. I'm not saying all, but it is what is happening. And we are adults also. So therefore, what we have understood, that we assign, you mentioned our teachers team, because our teacher, we call them the mentor of our children. So this mentor is qualified, experienced teacher, and the mentor is connected with the students, so that the student can be frank, can open their mind, what they're missing and what they need. And our teacher also, remember, teachers are not perfect. They're also learning from the students, and our teachers understand that. I understand that. I'm open to listen to my kids so that I can be benefited from my students also. So every teacher is a mentor, and most important part, that we are connected, if not in person, in these days, as you know, with COVID and other things, we not necessarily we meet all the time, but technology is giving also opportunity, although it's virtual, but at least they are seeing, they're talking as a human being, not with the machine. So this is the most important part of our delivery, the way how we provide our lesson, that a teacher is connected with my student. So students can be the best friend of our teacher. And yeah.
I think one aspect is certainly important, is the experience that your teachers have. They're really seasoned educators, most of them, and obviously, the more experience you have, the more better equipped you are actually to deal with young students, right? I mean, it's a very difficult age, and therefore I also want to ask you, like, it's mostly grade 6 to 12 that you accommodate, right?
Yes.
And
yes.
what kind of services do you offer? So is it only for IB programs, or is it also for general stream? Let's say I want to improve my math or science skills or English.
Well, here is a good point. Of course, as I said, it is not a question for improving. It is not a store to come when you need something. This is not the model. I think this model is needed for all the time. Therefore, we have, yes, there are different kind of students. Of course, we cannot say, but some parents would think that, oh, my child is having difficulties in physics right now. We do give them some lesson to make them better equipped for exam and test, all kind of things. But this is not our major goal. Is to have an environment where any student who are we have students who are academically and in different ways they're doing excellent in school, but there are students also. In fact, some of the students are also the teacher. They are also helping our other students, and they're helping us also. So we have three different, in fact, in general, I can say it this way, the students who are excelling, they're also our students. Students who are doing okay, they are doing okay. There is no complaint from teachers to our parents, but they want to do better. And of course, students who are behind, they have, for many reasons in Canada, especially, there are so many challenges we have.
So who is the target group in terms of students?
Thank you, Yannick. We have designed this model mainly for younger generation. So therefore, this younger generation, we start with mainly from middle school. So middle school, I mean by this, the children from grade 6 to grade 12. This way, we have the opportunity to prepare them and to learn from them also that how they can do their best for their career, for their future goal and their dream that they have. It is not deterministic. Life is really totally different. So therefore, our target groups are children from middle school to high school, and students from any background. And because of technological advancement, we are also offering our services to worldwide now. Although we are focusing mainly, we started from Canada's capital city of Ottawa, but as I said, we are not limited to Ottawa. We are offering services in Canada's different provinces and different cities and towns. And eventually, we are going to internationally.
That really sounds fantastic. And by the way, how did you like the coffee?
Well, it is amazing. I know you are fond of coffee, and I used to be, but because of my challenge with stomach, I mean, there's some problem with coffee lately, I found. But today I have taken a kind of challenge. I want to see how it works. So I'm enjoying. It's wonderful. You are a guy from Switzerland, so I know you guys like coffee a lot. Not much back my home country, Bangladesh, but I'm used to. I have been from all over the world for many years, so I like coffee too.
Well, I mean, you do such amazing tea, and that's where I really learned how to do outstanding tea, and that's what I'm drinking right now, right? With lemon, with black tea, and
with ginger.
Ginger, exactly.
Yeah.
Ginger is something that I never really enjoyed, but I started to really enjoying it because of you, and you really invoked this passion in me. Well, the same with actually dates. That's why. I mean, we literally mean dates, like dates to eat, right? So it's fantastic.
Well, this is where diversity comes from. So because we should not we should not think only for one thing. We need to find coffee is also needed, and everything should be in a balanced way. That's fantastic. We need to have tea also. Of course, tea has lots of benefits. And of course, coffee has at least some, I'm sure. I do not know in the comparison of tea, but definitely we need to diversify our consumption of any food. It could be any drinks, we should.
And of course, balance, because you're a mathematician and engineer, right? So it's very important for you, of course.
Well, balance is my favorite word, in everywhere. Not only for physicists and mathematicians. Balance in every corner of every point of life, And you are reminding me, because my favorite subject is optimization, optimum control theory. That what my focus has been in university and mainly my research work. So yes, definitely balance is the most important part, and this is for when I teach math to my students. I become really not only enthusiastic. I become happy that I can connect this important things to real life. You see why we are suffering these days. Again, to go back to the time that we are going through. It is because of we do not have balance. Our leadership, the politicians, are not taking care of this balance. It is about, anyway, I don't want to go to politics, but I just want to tell you that I feel that our younger generation, the people who we are dreaming that they will be doing something much better than we do, and we need to share our I would say, the one that we have been failing. We could not do the work better. So we need to acknowledge this to our younger generation. And balance is the word, how to balance it, how to optimize. You see, everywhere there is a great thing and there is not very great thing. Therefore, I should share with you also Daniel Pink's wonderful concept, 6 senses he's talking about. And I want to remind this, I have written down here. These 6 senses are design, story, symphony, empathy, play, and meaning. Why these are so important, I want to share with you. Because design means when you are creating a product, and we used to do, we need to create products for anything. I'm talking, but it is not enough just to create. You need to make it beautiful, attractive. This is what about the 21st century's needs. There was a time it is not important, we just need it, but it is not enough. Now, when we talk about story is not just argument. Story has to be narrative. It is not enough just to say, oh, this is my argument and I should be agree with you. You need to make me convince in a way you narrate it. You just make a story so that I'm amazed with this. Then we are talking about a symphony. This is very important. I like it. It is not enough just to, we always say that, okay, we need to focus on something, but it is not enough only focusing. You need to putting pieces together. Analysis is good, you need it, but we also need to see the connectedness with each other, with each particle. Yeah. Even if we go to the subatomic particles, there's another things we should talk about. So symphony is very important. And the other interesting thing is empathy. You see, again, what is happening in this world? We are missing out. We are lacking empathy. Logic is not enough. You might have a wonderful logic for something, but you need to care about other part also. Therefore, empathy is important. Next one is also very, very interesting. We are all serious. I'm always, I want to do something to finish it serious. I do not spend much time for other things, but we should not be, because at the end of the day, we should think about life is, of course, we are ending one day sometimes. So it should be playful. We should play. We need to make life enjoyable. We need to laugh. We'll talk one day about laugh. This is fantastic. It's a great medicine. And last but not least, it is about meaning. It is not even we can put it in the first place that I talk about. AlivEducation's main is purpose, searching for the meaning, not just accommodation. We can have all the food, everything in front of us, but what is the purpose? Why? What is the meaning of this? You need to ask this question, and then we can get answer of this. And by the way, the last but not least, I think I will be finishing soon. I want to remind one beautiful quote from the Dalai Lama. He said, the purpose of our life is to seek happiness. And the very motion of our life is toward happiness. So I see that there's a bigger meaning of the creation that we have. There is a bigger meaning, and that many of our scientists and politicians and our leadership are not seeing this in a bigger meaning. They need to see the bigger meaning. If we do, then we should not suffer what we are suffering from. Thank you very much.
So, you know what, I'm really curious, as you said, you say balance is very important. And so a personal question, do you think like you have a good balance in your life? Or do you think like it is a challenge? Because it is in many ways for us, it's always a challenge. I think it's basically the golden rule, right? To find this golden rule of being in balance somehow with our life.
I do agree. I cannot agree more, Yannick. And unfortunately, I would say no. I'm having difficult time to balance myself. For example, I just mentioned out of 6, but playful, be more playful. This is missing from my side. I need to give more time to my family. This is not. I'm not able to do it. So of course, this is not balanced, but it is also not easy. Yannick, I'm telling you, this is, if we go back to see many of the great people of the world, our history, I think there is not many people they were able to make a balance. It doesn't mean that I'm saying that I'm doing right, but how to find this balance, it is a big job, but we need to work on this. This is for sure.
Yeah, I think really like the path is the way, right? So we are all on our journey, and perfect, and to find balance is definitely something that takes some time, and I would say even a lifetime.
Go ahead.
Thank you so much for being on the show. It has been such a pleasure talking to you, Monjur.
Thank you. Thank you.
Dr. Monjur Chowdhury.